This is the second video of Mansa Musa.
Okay, so I would like to know what makes you so excited about your research and what you found out.
I've been interested in manuscripts, and the maps are part of that too for me. So it's like a skill of drawing, and also the traveling, of course, which is also fascinating. And maybe if I wasn't allowed to travel, I would have, in my mind, traveled with making the maps. If I was a monk or something like that, fiddling with maps. And what they did in those days, they copied from other maps. The printing was not actually invented in that time, so everything had to be basically painted by hand.
What was Mansa Musa most known for?
When Mansa Musa came into power, he was Muslim, or I don't know if he became Muslim, but he was basically Muslim, and he went on a really big pilgrimage. It took a whole lot of people and a whole lot of supplies, and they went to Egypt, and then they went to Medina, and then they went to Mecca, because it was supposed to be that all good Muslims need to go to Mecca at least once in their life and do the pilgrimage and circle the Kaaba. So he did that, but he took a whole lot of people with him, soldiers, and of course they had to cross the desert and all that, so they had tons of camels, and they had all these people that helped them, and lots of supplies. So he had many kilos of gold with him, which he started giving away on the way to people that he thought he could give some gold to.
Oh,
and
kind of generous.
It was kind of generous, and it was kind of nice, but the thing is that he for about 10 years, the whole gold standard came off.
Dropped,
The value dropped a lot because there was just too much gold going around. So that was one thing. So when he stayed in Cairo, this is 1324. He stayed there for 3 months on the way. And he befriended the governor of the district of Cairo, which is called Amir Hajib. And I think that Amir Hajib had someone who wrote down the story that Mansa Musa told him. Because in general, we don't really know much about it.
How did Mansa Musa become king?
Mansa Musa was in his 20s. When the king decided that he wanted to go and find the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. And I don't know if some people said there were 2 trips. One was that he sent his people out there, about 200 ships, with supplies and stuff. And only one ship came back and said that they had come to this big river in the ocean, like a very fast-flowing place, and they all entered on it, and they were swept away, and they didn't come back. So, some people said there was a big storm and they didn't come back, but I think maybe they were on some kind of trade route, which actually you could only take it in one direction. So we don't know anything about what happened to them. So then, if that story is true of the two editions of sailors leaving, and then the king was kind of annoyed because he wanted to see it for himself, and he was kind of he took even more, like about 1,000 ships. I mean,
wow.
Where did they get all that wood from? So anyway, and there were 1,000 ships of supplies as well, so it was 2,000 ships, and he took them all, and they went away, and he put Mansa Musa on the throne to take care of it. And after 5 years, he hadn't come back. And so Mansa Musa said, okay, well then I'll be the king. And that was agreed, and so he became the king. But he's still quite young, but he had already been a deputy king for about 5 years. So interesting, hey?
Okay, so are there any implications from your research that we could kind of use today, or something like some information that would be necessary to look at today, or that can be drawn to today's life?
Well, the remarkable thing is that this Mansa Musa was a very benevolent person, a very generous person, even though his riches was based on gold, diamonds, slaves, salt, and they had ivory, slaves, elephants, yeah. So, his country was including Ghana, Mauritania, Chad, Niger, Senegal, Guinea, Goa, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso, and Gambia. So it was really big in those days. And he created a library, a very important library in Timbuktu. So he was really trying to support the culture and the arts. So in a way, I would like to think that we can maybe model something on that kind of attitude, that we encourage culture and the arts, and that we have generosity towards other people, and that we try to bring prosperity to the people in our own environment or in our own country as much as possible. So yeah, he was a bit of an inspiration, and I think that in a way the gold that he had, I don't feel it. The gold was owning him, you know. I feel he was beyond that. He wasn't trying to have more gold or running after it. He just was kind of on top of it. Because we were talking about Elon Musk, how he's sort of the richest, but this guy was actually richer than Elon Musk would have been today. So.
All right. Thank you.